everybody. Today I want to talk to you about music technology. That is, recording devices, electric instruments, and indeed a lot of the devices that you have around you at home. So things like mobile phones and laptops. A lot of them have built-in microphones, built-in cameras, obviously some kind of recording device that will store information, and some kind of speaker. And these are the three basic elements of pretty much any system. So I'm going to break it down and have a look at how each one works and what the possibilities are. Obviously there's a huge amount of stuff out there and we can't cover everything, but we'll see what we can do. So first up, let's talk about microphones. This is my microphone that I use with my looping kit. You probably recognise it from music videos where you'll see them either on a stand or being held by the person who is talking. You quite often get clip-on ones these days that are attached to people's clothing, but there are also microphones inside telephones, laptops and so on, and they're absolutely tiny. You barely know they were there. A microphone is basically an electronic ear. So to think about what a microphone is and how it works, let's have a think about what the ear is and how it works. And to do that, we've got to think about what sound is. Sound is vibrations in the air. So if you have an environment with no air at all, then sound doesn't travel. What happens is when you speak, when you clap, when you play an instrument, you cause a vibration, a movement. And when you do that, the air around you moves. So if I clap and you can hear me 50 metres away, that means I'm moving all of that air between here and there, just a tiny bit. And to pick up that sound, to hear that sound, inside your ear there has to be something that will also move, and it's got to be really sensitive, because you've got to think, I make that clapping noise, the air in between us vibrates, and that causes something inside your ear to vibrate just that little bit. Now I'm going to do a quick demonstration of this, just to show you a little bit about how it might work. Okay, so what I've done is I've taken my tambourine and I've put inside it some lentils. These are just the same orange or red lentils that you might have in your kitchen, and they are there to show you the movement. So the tambourine is going to be my membrane, my eardrum as it were. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play my big drum, which is underneath, but they're not touching each other. And what will happen is when I play the big drum, the air in between them will move, and that will move the lentils. So inside your ear you have an eardrum. You've probably heard it mentioned but not really thought about what that means, but it really does mean that in there is a tiny weeny little membrane that vibrates every time the air moves, and then that movement is turned into a signal that is sent to your brain. So I said the microphone is an electronic ear. Inside the microphone is a tiny little membrane which moves when the air moves, and that movement is turned into an electrical signal which is sent to the hard drive on the computer or the recording device. There have been all sorts of different ways of recording sound over the years, decades, almost centuries now. The first of which was actually wax tablets. So the sound would move the microphone would move a little needle which would then draw a notch in a wax tablet as it moved, and then later on you could put another needle in that groove in the wax tablet which would move, and you would send that signal to your speaker. Then after wax tablets came vinyl records. Here's one from my childhood, Peter and the Wolf and the Young Person's Guide to the Orchestra. I grew up listening to this, and if you've not seen one before, I shall give you a quick look. So this is made of a kind of plastic called vinyl, and it's got lots and lots of tiny little grooves in it that go around. When it sits on the record player, it turns, the needle sits in the groove, and as it goes round, that will go up and down, and that signal will be sent to the speakers. Then came tape recordings. We used to have cassette tapes back in the day where electromagnetic signals were kept on those, and then CDs, which a lot of you will have seen. But these days, actually, a lot of music is kept on computer hard drives. The third part of the system, which I've mentioned briefly, is speakers. So also built into your laptop or your phone, there will be some kind of a speaker. But obviously you get much bigger ones that you see when bands are performing on stage, or you might have a hi-fi system that's got bigger ones that you notice. And these have got a paper cone in them, which again, like a drum skin, moves backwards and forwards to make the air vibrate, to recreate the sound that was originally picked up by the microphone and recorded on whatever device you've got. Okay, so let's have a look at my live looping setup that I've got here at home. This is the microphone, which has got a cable here, which you can see. If we follow this all the way down, we will find that that is plugged in to the back of my loop station. I've actually got two loop stations here. On the right is the first one I bought, and on the left is the second one, which I was actually given by a magazine as a bit of a promotional thing. I use them next to each other, so you can see this is the output, and this cable joins them together, so this is the input for the second machine, and this is the output again. These two are just power cables here. So for the second machine, I've got another cable. You can probably guess where this is going. Ah, there it is. This is my amplifier, my speaker, which actually produces the sounds. I'm going to do a quick demo for you now. I'm going to actually use the looper and show you what I do with my feet, which you don't usually see. So I'll use this pink one on this side. This is the record pedal. This is stop. And the record pedal can be used to start the recording, so I'm going to do that now. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, and when I press it again, 4. Now that sound is coming from the speaker. Now that sound, but the looper's got a special trick. Now that sound, the looper's got a special trick. Now that sound, so you end up with 2 or 3. Now that sound, so you end up until I stop it. Let's try that with a piece of music, shall we? Ah, Robin, gentle Robin, tell me how thy lame doth, and thou shalt know of mine. Ah, Robin, gentle Robin, tell me how thy lame doth, and thou shalt know of mine. Ah, Robin, gentle Robin, tell me how thy lame doth, and thou shalt know of mine. Okay, so the second looper has got slightly more buttons on it, as you can see. It's got 2 here, which are both for recording, separate loops, a stop, and this one is the special effects, which I don't know if you can see, but above it there's this dial that turns, and it gives us different options, so you can do reverse, half, once, tape stop, fade, double and hold. I'm going to show you some of those, but I'm going to put the camera back on its stand first. Okay, so I'm going to do the same song, but I'm going to do it on the grey box now. I'll sing it, record it, and then we'll try some of those special effects and see what they sound like. Ah, Robin, gentle Robin, tell me how thy lame doth, and thou shalt know of mine. Ah, Robin, gentle Robin, tell me how thy lame doth, and thou shalt know of mine. Ah, Robin, gentle Robin, tell me how thy lame doth, and thou shalt know of mine. Ah, okay, so it's not recording anymore. Let's try half speed. Are you ready? And thou shalt know of mine. So it doesn't just go half speed, it also becomes lower, because what it's done is stretch the wave out. That's quite enough of that. How about the opposite? We'll try double speed. You ready? This one makes me sound like a chipmunk. Okay, how about reverse? This is one of my favourites. I've not tried it on singing before. Let's see what it sounds like. Makes me sound like I'm singing in a different language, doesn't it? I think I might need to use that on that piece. I quite like that. Tape stop. This is a silly one. course, tape stop only makes sense if you remember what tapes were like. So if you had recorded something on a piece of tape, it would turn around and it would run through the head, and when you switched the machine off, it wouldn't stop straight away, it would slow down gradually, and that's what that effect is actually imitating. Before we do our joining in for today, I just want to have a quick talk to you about the difference between an electric instrument and an acoustic instrument. So for example, with the guitar, which is probably the one you're most familiar with in this respect, you can have an acoustic guitar, which is a wooden box with strings on it, and it will work without electricity. Or you can have an electric guitar, which is anything you like really, with the strings attached to it and little things called pickups built in. And a pickup is just another kind of microphone. So when you play the string, the pickup will take the sound, and you need to go through some kind of a system, again to a speaker. Otherwise your electric guitar really doesn't make much noise at all. So it only works through an amplifier. Okay, today's joining in piece is going to be rhythm based, a bit like the one on Percussion Week, but this time we're going to use all body sounds, and I might use a few sneaky electric sounds. So for example, I have a habit when I'm playing on this kit of actually using the sounds that happen when I tap the microphone stand as part of the pattern. So let's start with one of those in fact. So. Makes quite a good bass, doesn't it? Oh, you can actually hear my foot on the pedal as well, listen. There, that click, that's me stamping. Let's try some clapping. So you can find a nice deep sound on your chest next. Can you tap your knees? And make it fast. How about you puff out your cheeks? I'm going to try this one. Be gentle with that one. Oh, I record my voice. Can you think of any more? I bet you can think of some I haven't thought of. I'll leave it running for a bit so you can do some extra. See you next week.